Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Um, I know Ed just finished his live. I'm gonna check out what he was talking about. I literally got I listened in for about 10 minutes before, and then I just caught the last bit, like the last, I don't know, 2 minutes of the end. Um, Shout out to Edward Anderson, my millennial brother. Okay, so let's do this. This is the rough draft of my response to Miss Khadijah and Bo, and her video about Pick Me. I did watch it last night. I watched it again today. Um, and this is my little not so articulate rough draft response to her. Um, let's do this. And this is I'm going to focus on really 2 points on this particular video. So let's just get that out of the way. You know, when you're kind of more fluid with your sexuality and you call yourself queer because you're queer, you can kind of poo-poo the dance between heterosexual men and women. It's a joke to you. You don't have to consider it because you don't have to consider what heterosexual men think because you're not a heterosexual woman. You don't have to really consider what heterosexual men value because you're not a heterosexual woman. And that's okay. I just want to repeat that. I truly believe that, by the way. This is not me. That's not just an exercise in rhetoric. I'm not trying to set that up for anything in the future of me saying something. None of that. That's okay, right? The problem then becomes when you kind of talk about it like, look at you straights, right? And Miss Khadijah straight up said, it sounds like torture. Being heterosexual, being straight sounds like torture. Now, this is where we get into the interesting part of the conversation because I'm happy that they're finally saying it out loud on the interwebs, right? To be recorded in history forever unless she deletes it. I'm glad they're finally saying it. Kim Foster, from what we know, completely heterosexual woman, has also said something similar, right? Us straights are down bad because, caring about being attractive to the opposite sex is somehow some type of hell, right? It's disgusting to care what the opposite sex thinks and what they feel and what they value, apparently, right? This is me kind of continuing some of what I said to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. Shout out to Dr. T. Hassan Johnson. And I'm going to be very careful with this. The conditional lesbianism, right? And then when these people enter that realm of sexuality, right? How they then speak about heterosexual and straight people, right? Because we act like it's just a one-way aggression. It's heterosexual people beating up on, and remember their term, punching down on LGBTQ people. Meanwhile, educated, well-read people like Khadijah get to just make a little cutesy joke about, it sounds like torture. Oh my God. Being straight sounds like torture. Why? Because the heterosexual straight women care what men think. They want to appeal to men. That's torture. Huh. The way the entire human race got to where they are is torture. Think about that. It's torture for a man to appeal to women. Notice it's always torture going one way. Men attempting to appeal to women, men killing themselves for women. Literally killing themselves, killing each other for women. How often do you hear women that getting to literally murder each other over men? It happens, not nearly as much. But we don't think of that as torture. It's only torture one way, right? Once again, the feminist tenet, never do anything for the express pleasure of men, right? It's torture for a woman to say, you know what? I feel like being sexy for men. Let me see how much attention I can get from men. Let me see how much. Let me be sexy for my individual man. Oh, that's torture, right? That's torture. To consider what men think is torture, that's not the worst part or the most interesting part. It's the fruity in the booty comment. Oh yeah, she said that. Maybe some of y'all should try being fruity in the booty. Yeah, oh yeah, she said that. Now she said it like she was saying it in jest. It kind of just, she freestyled that out. It was in a well thought out comment, but she said that. Huh. Miss Khadijah, that's very interesting because you would need to talk to your sister in the XX chromosome side of the game and see how many of them, even the bis, are interested in bisexual men. See how many bisexual women are interested in bisexual men. Go talk to bisexual men about how women talk to them and treat them. Huh. So this is where we are. I want people to understand these are people that are rubbing elbows with important and influential people. They have hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. Their videos get hundreds of thousands of views. People take them very seriously. These are people with masters and PhDs, right? Their particular ideology reverberates throughout the community, the Black community, throughout pop culture, right? I want us to be very. I don't want us to take this lightly because I want to stress and emphasize these are not nobodies. In the grand scheme of things, maybe they're nobodies, but the way they speak, the way they think, the things that they propose, those go out in the larger environment, right? Now she then goes out to try to kind of joke it off and say, you know, we're coming for your kids. She's joking on that. We're what did she say? This is why they don't want us on the internet, for degenerates like me. And she tries to joke that off. But in all honesty, Miss Khadijah, that you're kind of right on that one. Yeah, you're kind of right on that one. This is why the left, in particular, this is why the left is shedding men. Things like this that maybe bubble up from pop culture, from the bottom, from disgruntled and angry people, or people that, and this is why I keep on stressing, these people are still mad about who didn't want them when they were younger. They still think about the people that made fun of them when they were 12 and 11 and 9 years old. That's still something they consider. I always want us to remember these people still think about who was making fun of them, who wasn't attracted to them, who was ignoring them, who made fun of their brown nose or darker skin when they were 9 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. And the things they do now is a big FU to those people, which then reverberate, Jesus Christ, Mr. Z, what you got going on? I don't know. And we get all the shrapnel. All the rest of us that didn't know these people, we don't know these people from a can of paint. We get the shrapnel. We get hit with all the shrapnel from these people waging a war on some 13-year-old boy from 20 years ago. Right? And I'm sorry, y'all. I know you guys hear me sniffling. It's my nose. It's stuffy, and I don't know. And in the weather, and it's raining down here in South Florida, and it's just all type of crazy. So I apologize for y'all hearing me sniffling and whatnot. I know it's annoying. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so y'all get to hear these people actually say it. So you couple what Khadijah said in 2023 with what the angry women from the documentary that I covered this over a year ago now, maybe even approaching 2 years ago, what the angry women were speaking about in the 1970s and 80s, the radical feminists in Britain and in America, right? You couple what was going on 50 and 40 years ago with what Khadijah is saying now, and you understand how we get to much of where we are now in the 21st century with relationships between men and women. This is how we got here. This is much of how we got here. Queer, intersectional, feminist, lesbian women, sometimes gay men, giving their advice on heterosexual relationships. If you don't get the entire hell out of here. And kind of mocking heterosexual women that care about what men care about, that care to appeal to men. Once again, no problem with men attempting to appeal to women and killing themselves for women and killing other men for women. But it definitely is an issue when women care. This is how you get the pick me as a pejorative, right? Right? And hopefully you guys can hear me. It is raining really bad right now in South Florida. Right? This is why that matters. And so I just wanted to bring that rough draft to you guys. Y'all like, share, subscribe, right? But it needed to be said that this is what, and these are the type of ideas that permeate the academia, particularly coming from the left, right? And these people turn around and mock. I want to be very clear. I say that they mock heterosexual people, heterosexual women who care to care about what men care about, right? They mock those women. And they say it's torture to care about what men care. It's torture. It sounds like such torture what you straights are going through, what you straights are saying and doing. It's torture. Y'all make sure y'all remember that. Right? And this is what's promoted in academia. Give me a second, you guys. I'm like double parked, double parked like a mug. Right? And this is what I was speaking about. And I'm still kind of playing around with the thought. I haven't really pinned it down yet of how I'm going to speak. It's more than just, and shout out to Mr. Donnie Mack. It's more than just ugly duckling syndrome, right? I'm thinking about conditional lesbianism and how we kind of get there, right? Because once again, if you grow up in the black community, you've seen it. Everybody want to call that bisexual. That ain't bisexual. That's a chick that wasn't attractive or wasn't deemed attractive or she felt unattractive, right? And then she started dealing with other women. And maybe she lost the weight or maybe she got a nose job or maybe whatever it was. And now she feels like she's more appealing to men. And now she's straight again. Now she's dealing with men again. And we all know, everybody, if you're black and you grew up anywhere around other black people in the hood, you've seen it. Right? And for the Khadijahs of the world, who pretty much, and what it's sounding like, Miss Khadijah, I can't tell you what it is. I could tell you what it looks like, it sounds like over here to a heterosexual black man. And it sounds like a person that did not like the offerings of the straight world, whether it's white, black, Latino, Asian men, whatever you were attracted to when you were straight, and you threw your hands up, and now you're living the queer life. And I don't know what that means. I don't know. When I say I don't know what that means, I know what queer means. I don't know what that means for you. Whether you're, you know, entertaining trans women or trans men, or if you're kind of lesbian, but you're open to something a little bit more, but not men. I don't biologically born men. I don't know what that means. What I'm saying is we have to be honest that in this conversation, there are people that think they're speaking in good faith, but much of what's fueling them is a level of resentment towards the opposite sex that they're not chosen. And everybody likes to play. You hear so many women now on the internet. One of their pushbacks towards men. That's Chrissy. That's Kim Foster. That's so many different people across the spectrum. It's oh, so easy to get a man. We don't care about getting a man. It's so easy to get a man. Nobody's. That's we shouldn't argue or debate this because of this. That sounds nice. It's so easy to get a man. What about the type of man you like? Ooh. Yet so easy to get a man. What about the type of man you find attractive? You find appealing that could give you the lifestyle you want to live and help you if you already are accomplished, help you to maintain that status, or if you're not accomplished, to help put you on that level. What about that? Right? Let's give Miss Kim Foster that. Let's give Chrissy that. Okay, y'all are right. But Chrissy, remember, you're over here talking about how polygynous and polyamorous. Okay, all right. Well, okay. Right? I guess Chrissy telling us it's so easy to get a man. She dealing with more than one. Right? Dr. Thunder caught me. Not so much. That is really one of my taglines, right? Not so much. Right? And you know, it's something to I've because I'm and I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to walk the thin line because quite frankly, in the grand scheme of things, I don't care about these people's sexuality. I really don't care about their sexuality. I just don't want y'all messing with the kids, quite frankly. Outside of that, as long as y'all not messing with anybody under the age of 18, I don't really care about your sexuality, believe it or not. Mr. Z don't care about persecuting you or shunning you or whatever. I don't, you know, living in South Florida, going to South Beach, you didn't see grown men with Daisy Dukes and they chest hair out and all type of weirdness. So your sexuality means absolutely nothing. What matters is when it's people like you that occupy academia or occupy places where you're thought leaders, and then you then get to critique heterosexual people and heterosexual relationships, right? That's when we start having an issue. When people like you put out think pieces and video essays critiquing heterosexual relationships and the dance between men and women in heterosexual relationships. When a multi-millionaire, child of a famous person, famous in her own right, references the queer world to bring her at ease for being single like a loose leaf paper. Who's Mr. Z talking about? Tracy Ellis Ross. I don't know if y'all seen that interview. She did a million interviews. So there was an interview that Miss Tracy Ellis Ross did where she spoke about, what are the things that kind of eases her angst about, aging and not having children and not being married is some of the queer feminist theory about having children and being married. Once again, right? And y'all give Mr. Z I'll tell y'all Mr. Z real life. Y'all give Mr. Z a minute. I'm gonna run in this gas station real quick. So y'all talk amongst yourselves. I might be gone for like about 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and y'all talk amongst yourselves, and then we're gonna continue this, right? So give Mr. Z a minute. All right, everybody. And we're back. We're back. We're back. Okay, you know when it's raining and you run outside and you're doing like everything not first not to slip. Secondly, you're trying to be fast so you don't get too wet and like yeah, all of that, all of that was going on just now. Okay, all right, so we're back. And so that's something I think I just want to make sure that we emphasize. This is not about making fun of Miss Khadijah or any of that. Just you know, as a person who's not living, you don't have to consider what heterosexual men think of women and what they find attractive because, quite frankly, you're a creative, so you're not beholden to men in any kind of capacity that way, like 9 to 5. I don't know if you have a nine. You know what? Let me retract that. I don't know if Miss Khadijah has a 9 to 5. It doesn't seem that she does, right? So she's a creative, and this is how she makes her money, and that's okay. And so you really aren't really beholden to heterosexual men in that way. Definitely not heterosexual black men. Nothing wrong with that. But then you're critiquing women, right? And this pick me, video essay that you did. And I don't think you fully appreciate the dance between men and women because you don't have to. You don't have to appreciate it. You don't have to consider it. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's a joke. And it seems like torture, as you said, per your own words, right? And that's something that black men have had to reckon with definitely over the past 50 or so years. It's people like this or people that have been influenced by people that think like Miss Khadijah and feel like Miss Khadijah that have had the ability to rise up the ranks in this country and rub elbows with important and influential people and then pose what they think the solutions for the black community should be. Devoid of what black men think or feel, because who are black men, especially heterosexual black men, right? Who are they? Why should we ever consider their thoughts, their feelings, their aspirations and dreams? Because all they are is defective wannabe white men, right? While simultaneously being defective black women, right? So this is why I've watched your video essay. I'll switch up the description box and I'll put the video in the description box so you guys can check it out. She already got her views. It doesn't matter, right? If y'all if y'all watch it, she'll get an extra dime or something like that. It doesn't matter. But the reason why I don't have an issue sharing some of these people content, unlike Chrissy who said y'all ain't gonna make no money off of me. Okay, whatever. The reason why I share these people content and I put the links in the description oftentimes, and I'm gonna get better at that, even the stuff that I'm going at, is because I want y'all to actually hear the people say it. I want y'all to actually grapple with and contend with what they're saying and what it means for you in your life, your family, your friends, and the larger black community. These people that talk this way, particularly these women that speak this way, right? And knowing that they're all over the country in all different realms of life, in all different career fields, and all different capacities, right? And remember, these people, for the longest, for decades, made it seem like black men were these sexist monsters that all we wanted to do was torture black women, harm black women, oppress black women and children, harm black women, children, black LGBTQ, and then we let them talk long enough and listen to what's coming out their mouth. Maybe we should try being fruity in the booty. What? And being straight sounds like torture, right? Being straight sounds like torture. That's what this young lady said. right? BGS said, "What about her favorite penis?" We don't know anything about that, BGS, right? We don't know anything about that. But once again, like I said, these are the people that, you know, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, hundreds of viewers, and what they think and what they feel, it matters. Um, and it's something that we as black people in general have to contend with because these people have a say so, right? Y'all give me a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Give me 1 second. You know, and I'm back. I'm back. Yeah. So I just definitely wanted y'all to, So I watched, like I said, I watched it last night, thought about it, and considered, okay, this is something she kind of said in jest, but it's important that these type of things get brought out into the light, right? This is somebody who stays in contact with their professor. This is somebody that people see as kind of um, somebody that they listen to, that they confide in, right? Khadijah has what, 500 and something thousand subscribers, 550, something like that, 100,000 subscribers, right? 550 something, like, well, that's last time I checked, and that was months ago. So this isn't a nobody on YouTube. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers, right? And so she uses um Jess Pearly and other air quotes pick me's, right? Who they see as being disingenuous and overly appealing to men and men's sensibilities and just telling men what they want to hear. This is kind of the same road that Chrissy is on right now with the going at the the women that's part of the red pill space, right? They're very harsh in critiquing those women. Once again, there's a spatial. These people also believe, and this is where this tenet comes in. I don't know if Chrissy understands that she buys into this, even as a person that doesn't consider themselves a stomp down, 10 toes down feminist. This idea that there's a you know a deep dark place in hell for women that harm other women, right? This is where you get some of that being very harsh and critiquing and chastising um women who they think are harming other women by appealing to men, by caring what men think, right? And for the Chrissies of the world, and maybe even the Khadijas, pandering to men, right? Instead of what, being adversarial. Well, I would argue Khadijah might say no to that, but definitely Chrissy will say yes to that, right? What did Chrissy say? You niggas ain't shit until y'all build Wakanda, right? Right. And Pensive said, Z, you got to warn us before you say stuff like that. Warning, warning, warning. Khadijah said that we need to try being fruity in the booty. Oh, right. And I think what, and remember what Mr. Z said to FD Signifier. What it seems like is that working class and poor men are being told you will not have heterosexual nuclear families. You will be relegated to all this other stuff. Leave nuclear families for the people with some money and some status. Leave that for the white dudes. That's for white patriarchs. White patriarchs with some money and some status, upper middle class and above, and even them, they're going to get hit with some of this. They get the nuclear families. You get the experimental stuff, the out there stuff, right? That's what you get, working class man, right? You don't get to be masculine. Your woman doesn't get to be feminine, right? And why would you want to be that anyway, right? Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Why would you want to be that anyway? And these people speak as if they've arrived, right? They know the secrets to life. It's us that care about what women think and feel. And Chrissy actually spoke to that too, like, you know, kind of why do black men care what's going on over here? Once again, we're black, but okay, that's neither here nor there. But men that care what women think and feel, and women that care what men think and feel, somehow that's primitive, right? What type of we're the weirdos? Heterosexual straight people that want to keep their thing going. We're the weirdos. Because these people torched the old social contract between men and women in the state and the corporations. They torched it. Now we're trying to figure out what the new social contract is going to be, and they're looking at us like we're the weirdos. Right? And that's what Mr. Z has a major, major issue with. Being told that you're, and these people swear they're not saying it. That's what they're saying. Being told you're regulated over here with the a-hole women, the women that's experimenting, right? The polygynous, polyamorous, lesbian, queer, trans women. That's what you get. That. Have fun with that, right? You get that, and you get the you don't get to have nuclear families. No, that's not for you. You're not a white patriarch. What are you smoking? Right? And I'm gonna pause right here for a second. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Mr. Z will be right back. And I'm back. I'm back again. Right? Okay. So yeah, so I just wanted to bring that to you guys. I'm not going to belabor the point too much. I already think I'm going over. Yeah, I'm about to hit 40 minutes. That's good enough for this kind of rough draft. I'll come back with points and bullet points and things that I want to really emphasize. But these particular things are what really stood out to Mr. Z. The being straight sounds like torture. The maybe y'all should try being fruity in the booty. Like I said, my bad. I did not give the warning again. My apologies. Warning Fruity in the booty comment. Um, yeah. So, like I said, Khadijah said that like she was saying it in jest. I, mm, you said what you meant. Quite frankly, you said what you meant. You know, and it's important that these people they're saying it more and more. All these people are saying what they're saying it. You niggas ain't shit until you build Wakanda from Chrissy, right? Let's bring back we don't need these niggas feminism from Kim Foster. Being straight sounds like torture from Khadijah. Maybe y'all should start try being fruity in the booty, right? Paris Milan calling us nakers. These people are, and by the way, none of these people would have been this overt, this seethingly overt, if it wasn't for the Black Manosphere. Because they got to be obscure and hide behind 4 and 5 syllable words before. They got to imply and suggest things, and then when you would put them back to the wall, they got to slither away from it before. Now that they feel a little bit of heat, they just outright coming out and telling you, yeah, y'all kill yourselves, black men. Right? As BGS said before, they weren't saying matriarchy. Now they straight up saying, yeah, it's a matriarchy and it should stay that way. Eventually, we'll just get them to say it's a gynocracy, and then we can really have fun after that. But they didn't even want to say, they didn't even want to admit that this entire experiment in the Black community was a matriarchy. Now we got them to that point. So what are they fighting now? To keep it that way. That's the point. Right? And remember, these are many of these people are academically inclined. And they truly live up to that influencer word. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Some tens of thousands, but many hundreds of thousands. Right? And that's why I speak about them. Not just because of what they say, because of what they say and who listens. Young, impressionable folks. That's why it matters. And then you wonder why. What they said, 20. What was the percentage of black women that were LGBTQ in the black community? Mainly because of the bisexual rate. You wonder how we got there. That's how we got there. Right. So on that note, we're at 43 minutes. So on that note, I'll pause right here. I'll put the link in the description. Y'all check it out. And she says it's pretty early, within the first 10 minutes or so. I want to say within the first 10 to 15 minutes, right? Oh, exactly, right, gender war? Insufferable, as they put it, yeah. We're the insufferable ones, but they're the ones who's DVing all over the place when they're in relationships with each other. But black men are the insufferable ones, right? And on that note, we'll pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Yeah, Miss Khadijah actually, she said it. Being straight sounds like torture. And why don't y'all, warning, warning, warning. Why don't y'all try being fruity in the booty? Wow. Okay, so that's where we are now. All right, let them talk. Keep letting them talk. Keep letting them talk. All right, everyone. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Mr. Z out.